everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you guys are new. We're at a little bit of a different angle here. Today's video is going to be a declutter, as I'm sure you already know, and I figured we will just jump into it. So I'm not planning on getting rid of half of everything or anything like that. I don't really have enough makeup to get rid of half of everything, so that's not really the goal. I really just kind of want to weed out the products that I'm not using or enjoying. So yeah, let's just jump into it. I already pulled out all of my SPFs, primers, setting sprays, concealers, and then foundations. And there are a few that I want to get rid of, but I think I'm just going to kind of like work my way through the categories and we'll kind of talk about each product. So I do have two sunscreens from Supergoop. I actually just recently used up this little mini, so that's why I'm not including it here. But I'm going to keep both of these. I love Supergoop. It's my favorite sunscreen. I just think that they're great products, so I'm definitely going to be keeping both the glow screen and also the mini of the Play. The only other SPF I have is this one from Kopari, and I am going to keep this because I used up that Unseen sunscreen. This glowy one is just really glowy, so I like to have this one because it's a little bit glowy, but it's not as intense as the Supergoop one. You can use this little mini on your face, but it's a mini, so I'm going to use it up really quickly, so I am going to hold on to this one from Kopari. I really like it. It's a mineral sunscreen, but it does smell kind of like cardboard, so it's not the most appealing scent to it, but I think it's a good sunscreen. Those are all the SPFs that I have, so we'll move on to primers. I'm going to put this in the primer category. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. I'm going to go ahead and keep this. I spent a lot of money on this. This is a regret that I have. I wish I would have gotten the mini size, even though it's not a good value in comparison. I didn't need to spend the money when I could have just got the mini and spent a lot less. Even though it's not a better value, it still is less money out of my wallet. I forgot to add this in, but I do think I'll talk about it here. I'm going to be keeping this, but it's more of like a skincare kind of hybrid product with makeup, but I keep it with my makeup collection. This is the Under Eye Balm for REM. I will be going through my skincare, body care, and hair care in a like part 2 to this video, but I'm going to be keeping this one. I wanted to mention that here. Okay, I have 4 more like traditional primers. I'm gonna keep all of them. I don't have very many. I have the Huda Water Jelly and the ColourPop Pretty Fresh. These are like my hydrating options. I do want to try another hydrating option, so if you have any suggestions, let me know what your favorite is. And I'd honestly probably prefer it to be drugstore because primer is a category where I feel like the drugstore really has great ones. And then I have these 2 gripping options. This one from e.l.f. is almost empty, so I'm gonna just use it up. But it has been like breaking apart certain foundations, so it's not a go-to for every day for me, but I do enjoy it. And then this one from Hard Candy says it's hydrating, but I think of it more of like just the gripping part of it. It's not really what I would consider like my type of hydrating one, just because my skin is so dry, but I'm going to keep both of them as well. And then I guess we'll go and talk about setting sprays since they're here. Again, I'm going to keep all of them. I have the Urban Decay All Nighter. This one's almost empty, but I have the mini size and it's full, so I can't really consolidate it into the little one yet. So eventually I will do that, but I like to keep the little one because it's good for traveling. So I'm going to go ahead and keep both for now. I love this one from Ben Nye. This is a Final Seal Matte Makeup Sealer. I use this for like special occasions or when I really need my makeup to stay in place. It's so good. Definitely keeping this one. This is a resetting mist. I don't use this a ton, but I am excited to use this more in the summer. It's an SPF setting spray of SPF 40 from Supergoop. And it's nice, but it does leave like a very glowy, almost oily finish to the skin, which I'm figuring out how to use without my mascara transferring because I've been having a little bit of a problem with my mascara transferring a lot lately. So I'm going to keep using this one, especially over the summer. It'll be good even if I don't have makeup on, so I'm definitely going to keep that. I'm going to keep this one for now. This is the Milk Makeup Grip Set and Refresh Spray. Honestly, it's like halfway gone and I'm trying to figure out still how I feel about it, which I feel like, that being said, I'm not going to be repurchasing this or anything, but it is nice for kind of like an everyday wear, so I'm going to keep it, but it's just not a must for me, even though it is nice. So if you could pick up like a trial of it, maybe with Sephora points or something, definitely pick it up and just give it a shot. Maybe it'll be great for you, but I don't know that I could just tell you to go out and pay the $30-something that this costs. I don't think I'm going to be getting rid of a lot in this category either. There are a few that I want to pan, but we have my concealers and my foundations here. So for concealers, I have several that are almost empty. So this Rare Beauty one is almost empty, but I love this so much, so I'm definitely going to be keeping this. I'll probably end up repurchasing this one when I use it up. Same thing actually goes with both of these. This is the e.l.f. Camo Concealer. It's the hydrating one, and then I have the Too Faced Born This Way. So the e.l.f. Camo Concealer, I'm considering decluttering. However, I'm going to hold on to it, and I think I'm going to put this in my project pan because it is almost empty. It has about a quarter of the product left, and I think I would just like to use it up. So I'm going to put it in the project pan, and then if I use it consistently and realize that I really don't like it, I will declutter it then. But for now, I'm going to keep it here. And then I just opened this brand new Flower Beauty Light Illusion Concealer. This was my favorite. I've used up one just recently, so I did go ahead and replace it, so that's definitely a keep. Then we're down to foundations. Now foundations, I am going to go ahead and count one. I did declutter my LYS Triple Fix Serum Foundation, and I'm going to count it in this video because I just got rid of it within the last week or two, and I didn't want to hold on to it for this video because the person that I gave it to I just recently saw, so I went ahead and gave it to her, and I'm going to count that as a declutter, which is our first declutter of the video. So that's the LYS Triple Fix. And then as far as the rest of these go, I'm going to be keeping most of them. I do like most of them. I will say these two are on the chopping block. The Huda one more than the Rare Beauty one, I would say, because the Huda one I'm realizing is just so cakey on my skin, but I really have been enjoying this True Skin from Catrice. So these are kind of like my two full coverage options right now. I hesitate to get rid of this one from Huda just because it was so expensive and I haven't really used up that much of it, but I don't know. I don't know. I need to try it and use it with other products and see if I can get it to work for me, but I'm going to be keeping both of my higher coverage options. And then this glowish product is similar to that Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, but it's more of a foundation. I'm definitely keeping this though. I really like it. And then I would say right now, these three are my favorites. So I'm definitely keeping these. This is the Flower Beauty Light Illusion, the ColourPop Pretty Fresh, and the Purito BB Cream. So as far as the four of these go, I think right now these two are going to stay. I would like to use up the Flower Beauty Serum Foundation. I don't think I'll ever repurchase it, or not maybe ever, but I don't plan on repurchasing it when I use it up. The Rare Beauty one, I want to use more. I don't know why, I just don't really reach for it, so I would like to reach for it more. If I was being a little bit more cutthroat, I'd probably get rid of both of these, but I just don't see a reason to. If I'm not wanting to, I don't want to get rid of it just for the sake of decluttering. For the last two though, I would really like to use up the Thrive Cosmetics one. It's not really a brand I want to purchase from anymore or support as much as I can help it. The actual logo kind of came off of the packaging, so I'm not mad about that. But I do really like this foundation. I almost said I really unfortunately like it. It's kind of true though, but it is a really great BB cream. It does have a little bit of SPF. It provides SPF of 35, so it's a nice added kind of bonus if you're going to be outside. So I'm going to keep this one, but I am going to set a goal for myself to go ahead and use this up in the near-ish future, especially since the summertime's coming up for that SPF product. But I am going to get rid of this one. A friend of mine gave this to me because she couldn't get it to work for her skin, and I can't get it to work for mine either. This is the Pacifica Kind Tint. I think it might be a hair light for me, so I kind of am thinking about like keeping it as a mixer, but then I look at my foundations and I don't really need a mixer. So most of my foundations are pretty spot on shade match for me, luckily. So I just think keeping a product like this is not going to be helpful for me. So instead, I think I'm going to pass this along to someone who can hopefully get some use out of it, and just unfortunately I can't get it to work for me either. So that's going to be our second declutter. Okay, next up we'll talk about my face powders and also face palettes, and quite frankly, I'm going to be keeping all of these. So I have two loose powders. I have the RCMA No Color Translucent Powder, and then the Hard Candy Sheer Envy Loose Powder. This is the hydrating one. I really like both of these. This one's a more like natural sort of everyday powder. This one is a more mattifying, like gonna keep your makeup on your face all day long. And I really like to have both options of that, so I'm definitely keeping both of these. I am technically decluttering a pressed powder, so we're going to count that as our third declutter, and that is the Bite Beauty Changemaker Powder. I did just recently pick it up from TJ Maxx. Now that was the lightest shade that I had, the one like the lightest one that they offered, but it was still just a little bit too dark for me, and especially up underneath my under eyes, it was just too dark. It was a really nice powder, but I went ahead and gave it to my sister because her hair or her skin color is a little bit darker than mine, so hopefully she can enjoy that. So that's going to count as our third declutter. But I still just have these two in my collection. The CoverGirl Clean Fresh, this is like my matte option for setting all over the face and under the eyes. And then I have the Glowish by Huda. This is the like glowy sort of finishing powder. And I just really like this powder. It's a nice like a finishing powder, and it gives a nice sheen to the skin. So I'm definitely going to be keeping, again, both of these. I love all of my face palettes. I'm going to be keeping all of them. I have the Anastasia face palette in Italian Summer. I have the Ulta Beauty face palette in California Sunlight. I am wearing this today, and I just love the way my like cheek makeup looks today. I love this so much. And then I also have this one from the Lip Bar in Go Off, which I haven't used this one quite as much as I probably should, but it's such a good face palette. The only thing I wish is that you could just buy the face powder to replace it in, because I love having all 4 in it. But I'm definitely keeping all 3 of these as well. Okay, so for all of my single cheek products, here's all of them. We've got cream and powder mixed together. So let's start with bronzer. I feel like that's going to be the most boring category, so we'll get it out of the way. I'm planning to keep all of these. I really like to cycle through them. I've got the Too Faced Milk Chocolate Soleil bronzer. This one's getting a little bit old. I probably should use it up soon. I've had it since the spring Ulta sale of 2018. I got it half off, but it's a bronzer, so I don't really feel weird about using it, even though it's quite old. It still has the same classic scent to it, so I'm just really not worried about it being a powder product that's nowhere near my eyes or lips. So I'm gonna keep this one. That's kind of like a darker powder option for me. And then this one from e.l.f. is the primer infused bronzer in the shade Forever Sunkissed. This is a nice like light sort of buildable option for me that I can use, especially if I'm in a hurry and I don't really want to go overboard with a bronzer. This is the newest bronzer to my collection. This is the Spectrum bronzer in the shade Rise. I'm so surprised by this one. I think it's amazing. I've really been enjoying it. This one was sent to me, but I really like it. The packaging is so luxe and like heavy and weighted feeling, but I just think that this is a really, really nice bronzer. This cream bronzer from Fenty, I really do like this. I wish I had the more cool tone one. This one is in Butter Biscuit, and I really wish I had the one in the shade Ambra, but I still really love this, so I'm definitely going to be keeping this. However, I do need to keep an eye on how old this is, because I don't remember when I got it. It doesn't have any scent to it, so I'm wondering, did it used to have a scent to it, or has it never? But I'm going to keep this for now. Now, this one from Bare Minerals, I need to put in my project pan because I really need to use this more. It's in the shade Faux Tan, and I honestly just don't reach for it. It's a little bit darker than I ever anticipated it being, but especially with summer, I need to just use it more. I'm not going to be swatching everything, of course, but I don't know. I wanted to swatch this one. Actually, looking at it, now that I shook it up really well, I don't think it does look that dark. So yeah, this I can definitely foresee putting in my project pan because I really want to get some more use out of it. I'm for sure going to be keeping this one. This is the contour one from Charlotte Tilbury. I love this so much. This is one of those products that I really just think deserves all of the hype that it gets. It's so good. Okay, I mentioned that this was on my chopping block. This is the bronzer duo from Juvia's Place. You guys, I'm gonna finally get rid of it. I finally realized, especially now that I have other bronzer options, specifically this e.l.f. one is quite similar to the more cool tone bronzer in here, and it looks a little bit different in the pan, but when I put it on, it feels a little bit more neutral. And then also the bronzer from the Charlotte Tilbury palette is extremely similar, and I just love this one so much in the Charlotte Tilbury palette. But at the end of the day, this palette breaks me out. I don't know what it is about their formula, but it breaks my neck out so badly that I just can't keep it. I do think it's a good duo, and I really loved this at first, but then I started to realize how badly it was breaking out my neck. And bronzer specifically is a product that I do like to bring down on my neck. So I just really cannot keep this in my collection anymore, unfortunately. So that is a little bit sad to see this one go. But like I mentioned, I love this one from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Film Star Bronze and Glow Duo. I clearly love this product. I love both of the sides of this, the bronzer and the highlight. So I'm definitely going to be keeping this. And then for highlights specifically, I'm going to be keeping all of them. I just recently picked up the 2 of these. They're pretty much brand new to me. So I picked up the Catrice highlight. This one's in the shade Supreme Rose Beam. I really, really love this one. I also picked up the REM Beauty highlight in the shade Miss Neptune. It's the more lavender one, which of course is very unique to my collection. These are both staying. This has been kind of like my go-to for a while. I'm so glad that I finally picked this up, but this is the Pixie by Petra Highlight Duo in the shade Subtle Sunrise. I really, really love this. I broke my packaging, which was so unfortunate. It doesn't actually close anymore, but I don't even care. I love it so much, it doesn't even matter to me. So definitely keeping that one. This product is one that I probably wouldn't keep if I had alternatives to it. However, it's my only really like blinding sort of option in my collection. I can build some of the other ones up, but this is the most blinding highlight that I have, and I really like that it's a duo with a pink option and a shampoo or like a gold option. So I'm definitely gonna keep this for now. This is from I Heart Revolution, and it's the Rose Gold Glow palette, and I just think it's worth keeping in my collection. I'm going to keep both of my cream products. I really like that I have one liquid and one kind of like potted one. This is the ColourPop Super Shock Cheek in the shade Lunch Money. It's their like cream highlight. It's a really nice shade. This works really well for my fair skin, which I can definitely appreciate because a lot of highlights are just too deep for my skin tone. And then I also really love this highlight. This is the liquid one from Rare Beauty. It's in the shade Enlighten, and I'm definitely keeping it as well. Let's talk blushes. I think I'll be getting rid of at least a couple here. So let's get a couple of my favorites out of the way. I'm not going to be getting rid of. This Patrick Ta is a brand new favorite of mine. I am obsessed with it. I think it's so pretty. The staying power on this is extremely impressive to me. It just stays on the cheeks all day long. I really love this one. It's not going anywhere. As well as my favorite Hourglass. This is the Mood Exposure blush from Hourglass, and again, it's another favorite not going anywhere. Same thing goes for the ColourPop and Kathleen Lights I Need Space blush. I think that this is one of my favorite blushes ever, and I'm not going to be parting with it. The ones like my favorites, I also really love this one from Charlotte Tilbury. Definitely not getting rid of this one either. And then I'm not going to be getting rid of this one either. This is the Whipped Dream from Kaja, and it's in the shade 02. This is a really great blush. I really like that it's a more like neutral one. I am going to swatch it because I want to look at it compared to some of my other liquid blushes. Now, this one from Flower Beauty specifically is in the shade Nectar. This is their blush balm. I've had this one the longest, and I feel like I need to start working my way through it because I have had this since 2018 as well. And with it being a liquid product, I feel like it's probably one that I should try and work through within the near-ish future. So this shade is honestly my favorite out of all of the blush balms that I have. I'm kind of hesitant on the two of these, so I'm going to be looking at them, but I do really like this one as well. It's in the shade Bubbly, so I think I'll be keeping this one because I do really love the tone of it. It's a more like bubblegum kind of pink, and I really, really like this. I also love to mix the two of them together. So these three I'm going to be keeping. However, when I picked up the two of these, I feel like the formula is a little bit different than the first two that I owned. So I'm going to swatch them and kind of consider what I want to do. I'm leaning towards keeping the shade Cinnamon, and I'm not sure about Pinched. But I also don't know if I want to get rid of any of them. So I just want to swatch them and see. But I haven't reached for them in a while. Like that one was even like clogged. Like it didn't want to come out at first. So that can probably give you a hint as to how long it's been since I have used it. This is the deeper of the two. And then the shade Pinched, I feel like when I put it on the cheeks, it just blends right away, like pretty much immediately. I don't know why, but I just feel like the formula of the shade Pinched is just different. And when I look at all of these together, I think the shade Pinched is the one I'm least likely to reach for. And I also wonder if I mix together the shades Nectar and Cinnamon, if it would give me a similar color. Yeah, especially if I had used a little bit more of Nectar and less of Cinnamon, maybe it would be closer to that. But I honestly think that that's close enough. And I don't know, I think I am going to part with the one called Pinched. I just don't think that it's the same formula as all of them. Like this one is just, I don't know, it just is not as pigmented on the skin. I would rather keep fewer of them and reach for the ones I love the most and then use them up versus keep too many of them that I don't reach for any of them. So I do think I'll pass on this one called Pinched, but I'll keep the one in Cinnamon. I do like to have like a deeper option. That's a liquid blush. This is the deepest liquid blush that I have, and I do really enjoy using it from time to time. So it's already in my collection. I don't see the need to get rid of it. I am, however, I think finally going to part with this blush from Thrive. I have hesitated to get rid of this because I do really think that it's super pretty, but I don't reach for it that much. And I've mentioned before, I don't know, I don't really want to support Thrive anymore, but I don't know, now that I'm swatching it, I kind of want to keep it. Oh no. I don't know, I just feel like I don't reach for it enough, but I haven't seen anything quite like it. I know the Bare Minerals bronzer is similar as far as the pink part goes, but the copper shift that this has is honestly really pretty. It does have hard pan on it though, so I don't really love that. I don't think you guys can see it quite like it looks in person with the lights on it, but I'm telling you guys, this is really pretty. I just feel like this would even be better on like tan skin because it is quite bold on me. And I feel like to get that copper shift, you kind of have to build it up a little bit. I honestly think I'm about to go put this on my cheeks and see how I feel about it right now. And then I'll make the decision. Yeah, I think it's just going to be better on like medium tan, kind of deeper skin. So I am actually going to go ahead and get rid of this. Hopefully I can find someone who might like it better. I might try and sell it on Poshmark or something. I really haven't used a ton of it, so there's a ton of product left in here, so hopefully someone can enjoy it. I've gone back and forth about getting rid of this blush. This is from Etude House. It's not cruelty free, but I really love the shade of this. It's such a nice formula too, like it's really creamy and it's a more neutral sort of a blush, which I really like sometimes when I don't want a really blushy sort of look. It's almost like that like not there kind of thing, but I really do like this one. This one from Essence is quite similar, so if you're looking for an alternative, it might be an option for you. I will say I don't like it quite as much as the Etude House one, but it's still a really nice blush. They're very, very similar, and for some reason this one picks up better on a brush, by the way, so it doesn't swatch that great, but these are really similar. The tone is slightly different, but the Essence one usually is slightly more like pink, whereas this one's more neutral from Etude. So I do think I'll keep both of them for now. These are my most like neutral blushes, whereas most of mine are more of like a mauve kind of color. And lastly is this one from Juvia's Place. Now, when I got this one, I thought this color was very nice. However, it's in comparison to the other two I just swatched, it's my least favorite. I don't really love the tone of it, but I really bought this because I loved this top shade. But when I got the top shade, this like terracotta kind of color, it's extremely orange on me. And when I got this one from Patrick Ta and She's So LA, I realized that this was really like that bronzy kind of tone I was looking for when I was thinking about this one. I know that they're different, but on the cheeks, this is just more of what I was wanting. So that being said, I am actually going to declutter this as well from Juvia's. I don't think it's bad. I don't want to say that. If these colors are something that you would like, then you would probably really like this. Okay, so next up we've got this mess that is eyes and brows. And right off the bat, I'm keeping all my mascaras. I know I have a lot open. This one is a lash primer from Essence. I'm definitely keeping that one. I want to use it some more. I'm not completely sold on if it makes that big of a difference for me personally, but I am enjoying using it. This is my brown mascara from CoverGirl, the Clump Clutcher one. I'm keeping that as well. And then I have 5 black mascaras that are open. I'm gonna keep all of them. Okay, maybe we'll do brows next. This is also another easy category. I'm gonna be keeping everything. Sorry, it's a little boring. I don't own very many brow products at all. I have this clear brow wax. This is the only one I would consider decluttering. However, from time to time, I want to try that soap brow kind of look. So it's nice that I already have this in my collection, but it's something that might end up getting decluttered the next time. I have 2 brow gels. I have the e.l.f. Wow Brow. This is a tinted one with like little fibers in it, and then the Anastasia Clear Brow Gel. I'm going to be keeping both of these. I really like both. Then I have the e.l.f. Ultra Precise Brow Pencil and the Milani Weekend Brow. Again, I'm keeping both of these. This is like a brow pen, and then the e.l.f. one is a more like traditional pencil. So I like to have those options. I have these little gemstones that I use for makeup looks. They're covered in lipstick shavings for some reason. I guess it's because it's by my pencil sharpener. And then I have lash glue that I use to apply them. I will be keeping these. I do have some false lashes, but I hardly ever wear them, so I'll keep this for kind of that dual purpose for this and also for the lashes. I'm kind of looking at this e.l.f. stick thinking I should declutter it because I never use it, and honestly, when you apply it, it doesn't really look that mint. Like, you put it on your eyes and then you don't just, well, I don't just swipe it on like that. I end up trying to kind of blend it in, and then it just kind of looks weird, and I just think I don't need it in my collection. So I do think I actually will declutter this one. I'm definitely keeping both of these single shadows. I have the one from Ulta Beauty in Buttercream and also the Melted Chrome from Essence in the shade Ironic. I love both of these so much. They just add a nice bit of sparkle over your look, so those are definitely staying. For now, I'm going to be keeping this glitter palette from Nabla. I honestly bought this because I loved the look of it so much. I got it with my points at Ulta. I let them save up all year in 2020, and then I got this and a few other Nabla products with it. But I just love the packaging of this so much that I am honestly okay with keeping it for that. I hardly ever reach into the glitters realistically, but they're fun every now and then, so I'm still going to keep this. For eyeshadow primers in that sort of category, so this one's actually empty. So I just wanted to kind of mention it just because I know that you guys probably know I've been using this one, so that's empty, so we don't need to talk about that one. I'm going to keep both of these for now. I am going to order one from NYX pretty soon that I'm hoping I will like better, but for now I'm going to keep both of these. This is the Juvia's Place one in the lightest shade, and then the CoverGirl lid lockup. I wish I could like combine these, put this one in this packaging because I really like the doe foot, but for now I'm going to keep both. But I am going to declutter this. This is the NYX Multitasker Mixing Medium. I've honestly only used it a couple times. I find that it's just not necessary for me. I use it with this and I feel like it dries up very quickly. I can't get a lot of use out of it until it dries on the back of my hand, and I keep having to like redo it. So I'm actually going to be decluttering both of these products from NYX. This is the Shimmer Down Pigment in the shade Walnut. I definitely can see that there's an audience for this. It's a great shade. It's really pretty, but I have this shade so many times in my collection that I just honestly don't need either one of these products. So I'm going to go ahead and pass them on, which leaves us with one last shade and a lot of eyeliners. So this is another single shadow. It's from e.l.f. It's in the shade Pinky Swear, and it's one of their liquid eyeshadows, kind of like the Stila glitter ones. I'm going to be keeping this. I think it's a lot of fun. It's not the greatest quality or anything. It can kind of pick up your shadow underneath if you're not careful, but it's really nice to just tap over the lid and add a beautiful amount of sparkle, so I'm going to be keeping it for now. I think I'm keeping all of these eyeliners. I've got two liquid ones, a black and a brown. I'm definitely keeping those. Those are my favorite. I'm keeping both of my potted liners. This one is from Tatiana Anissa Cosmetics. It's in the shade Blank Canvas. It's just a white one. Then I've got a black one from LA Girl. This is their gel eyeliner in the shade Jet Black. Again, keeping both of these. I picked up this liquid liner from Profusions. This is the Bright Lights Pastel Liner in the shade Lavender. I actually have only used this, well, I drew it on my hand the first day I got it, but I actually just used this today and I really like it. It's like a nice just pastel purple liquid liner. It was very affordable, like $5 or less. And it was a lot of fun just to pick up and try something fun, especially for the summertime. So this is definitely going to stay in my collection. For now, I'm going to keep all of these. So the only one that's not from NYX is this Essence one in the shade Pure Nude, or actually Silky Nude is what it's called. Every now and then I want a nude liner, and I'm kind of considering getting rid of it, but you know what? It really is true. Every now and then I want one, and I don't want to have to repurchase one. So I'm going to hold on to this and see if I end up using it anytime soon. I kind of feel the same way about this white one. However, the white one can be cool to layer like a shimmer shade over it to give it some intensity. So I'm going to keep that. And then all of these are the NYX Epic Wear, which is what the white one was. And I love all of them. I have the black one in the shade Pitch Black, Deepest Brown, All Time Olive Gilded Taupe, and Berry Goth. And I just really like all of these. So luckily they don't take up a lot of space. I'm going to keep them all. I really want to get like a colorful option, a little bit more of like a bright one for the waterline. I think that that's going to be a lot of fun this summer. A lot of these are more muted, but I love the formula so much. Okay, I feel like these are mostly in frame. These don't really want to fit. So my eyeshadow palettes. I didn't expect to get rid of any of them, but looking at them, I definitely think that I actually might. So let's get the favorites out of the way here. I definitely have my favorites. So Give Me Glow Pastel Dreams is going absolutely nowhere. You guys know this is such a favorite of mine. I just filmed a palette bingo with this. If you're interested in it, I will have it linked for you, but definitely check that out. This is a total favorite. Again, not going anywhere. The palette I'm wearing today is the Natasha Denona Glam palette. Again, such a favorite. This is such an incredible palette. I love it so much. It stayed on my eyes just seamlessly all day. I'm always just blown away by that for some reason. I just think it's one of the most long-wearing eyeshadow palettes. I don't typically have a problem with eyeshadow palettes fading, but for some reason I noticed this one staying more than any of my other ones. So this one's definitely not going anywhere. Obviously, my Huda palettes are going nowhere. These are in my Project Huda Beauty. I'm not going to open them right now just because I don't really want to spoil that project. But I have the Huda Nude Light, the Huda New Nude, and the Mercury Retrograde palette. These are all going to be staying in the collection. Also from Give Me Glow, this is the little duo I just picked up. These are the shades called Perry and Wink. I just also filmed a video with them. I'll have linked for you. Not going anywhere. These are the other singles in my collection. I love this little quad. I made this with some shades from the So Jaded palette with ColourPop. These are some favorites of mine. I really wish I could just buy that quad. And then I also have some various ColourPop shades here. And looking at them, I'm kind of thinking I might be ready to part ways with them. This purple shade is also from the So Jaded palette, and it kind of holds me back. Like sometimes I just think I can't part with it because I really don't have a shade that I can think of that's like it. It's a very unique purple. So actually, yeah, I am going to keep these for now. I also have a little bit of a hard time letting go of this one. This is a favorite of mine from ColourPop in the Zodiac palette. So for now, I will hold on to them. I just really love them. A couple others that I'm keeping are from ColourPop. It's my two ColourPop palettes, the Making Mauves and the That's Taupe palette. These are such great palettes. I really love both of them. We've got the more mauve-y option and then the more like cool tone sort of neutral option. Definitely staying in the collection. This palette from I Heart Revolution, I hardly ever use, but I can't get rid of it because it's so stunning. Like these shimmer shades are insane. Just how beautiful they are. I think that they're really amazing. And when I want a green look, this is such a great palette for that. So I'm definitely going to keep this. However, because I have this green palette that I love so much, I know it's a lot more bold than this one. This is the Dancing Green from Essence. I am kind of considering decluttering this one. I really like it, but I just feel like it doesn't stay all day sometimes. And sometimes it does. It's super weird. And I don't think it's anything to do with the primer I use. But I don't know. I feel like it's a little more grungy than I typically reach for. And when I look at it, I don't feel like excited to use it. So that's kind of making me kind of answer my own question here. I actually think I'm going to declutter this one. I did not plan on that, but I don't know, you guys. This, like, honestly, out of all of the ones I tried all of the original 6. This one was my favorite. I think that it's really good. I don't use it. So I'm kind of just, I think it's time. I don't know. It is really, really pretty, especially if you want to just try a green palette, but I'd rather pass this along to someone who might enjoy it more and actually get some use out of it. I also have a lot of those green shades, well, really here, but also if you mix those together with that yellow or the brown, it's going to give you some, kind of that like similar sort of a vibe, especially that in comparison to this one from I Heart Revolution. I just think I could get by without it. Let's go ahead and talk about the other two palettes I have from Essence. This is the Bronzed This Way, and then I have the Coral Me Maybe. Coral Me Maybe is for sure staying in my collection. I actually think this one might have passed the Dancing Green for me, especially because I've just been more into warm tones lately, but I think that this palette is really great and I definitely want to keep this one. I'm kind of up in the air about this one though, because I do like it, but the shimmer shades, for some reason, I want like lighter ones. I don't know. And I'm kind of thinking about that in comparison to this one as well. This is the Warrior palette. I know these are different. Like this one's more gold and this one's more red. When I look at this palette from Juvia's, I feel so excited by it, but I think because I had like a negative first impression or first few impressions with it, I hesitate to reach for it. But the last couple times I used it, I think that it worked really well. So I'm thinking I just need to buckle down and use it, because I really think that these are some gorgeous warm toned shades, and the shifts on them are really nice as well, which is what I want in a metallic. So I actually kind of thought I was going to be decluttering this one in this video, but I think I'm going to keep it. This is, again, the Warrior from Juvia's. I think I will keep this one. I just haven't found my perfect warm tone palette yet. I don't think either one of these are that for me, but for now I think I'm actually going to keep this one. So I was kind of thinking I was going to keep one or the other, but I'm just not sure what I want to do about that, because this one doesn't have like that kind of red shade, but in reality I'd probably really only use the lightest one from the Bronze This Way palette that much. So I'm kind of considering passing this one along as well, just because of the tones. I feel like they're a little bit of a darker sort of color story than I'm kind of into right now, especially with these reddish sort of tones. And then as far as this brown goes that has a little bit of red in it, I kind of have that shade. That one's really similar, and I feel like I have that other places as well. So I actually do think I'm going to pass this one along as well. However, I just want you to know this one and the Dancing Green ones are really good. It's really just because of the color story with both of those, but I have noticed the green one looking a little more grungy by the end of the day than I want it to. Definitely gonna be keeping this. I don't even know why it's sitting out still. This is the Nomad Fire and Ice palette, the Iceland one. Keeping this one. I'm keeping the America's Parks palette as well, for sure. Definitely gonna keep the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk quad. I've mentioned my qualm with this. I get frustrated because this shade here gets hard pan like every time you use it, whether it's with your finger or your brush, or it doesn't matter. But I really want to hit pan on this shade. I feel like I'm very close to it. I've got a good dip going. I do like this nice shimmer shade for like an everyday look. It's not super over the top or anything. It's a nice subtle sort of palette. It's very expensive too, and I want to get my money's worth out of it. I'm keeping this one. I'm going to keep this Totally Plastic palette from BH Cosmetics. I really like this palette. I need to use it more. I just got back from vacation, so I haven't been using all of my palettes lately. But yeah, I really do like this one, so I'm gonna keep it. I'm also gonna keep this Natasha Denona palette. This is the Ayana palette, and I really like this one, especially the shade here in the middle is so pretty on the lids, and I always love the way my look turns out when I use this, so I'm gonna keep it. I have not been reaching for this palette from Persona very often. However, I still love it. This is kind of like that similar color story to the Bronze This Way as well. I love all of these shades. The only problem I have with this is that these matte shades are so deep and dark on my fair skin that they're hard to work with sometimes, but I cannot pass this palette along. I love the shimmers way too much that it's justifying keeping the whole palette. So it's definitely going to stay in my collection. Also, I notice every time this is in a video and I'm editing, it has that one little makeup splotch on it. So I'm going to clean it off right now. So if you've been noticing that too, that was for you. Cleaning it off. But we're keeping it. I'm going to keep both of these palettes. This is the Deuce by Juvia's Place. This is the first one I had from the brand. It's probably pretty old now, but I love it still. And this has become my favorite Juvia's palette, I think. I think it's past this one even because of the color story. I'm just a little bit more into this right now, but I cannot get rid of this palette because I know you can't get it again. And this is the first palette where I felt like, or one of the first palettes, where I felt like when I looked at every single shade, like, yes, I will use that shade. So I'm definitely not getting rid of this palette. I cannot believe they discontinued this. And then this is the Magic Mini. I love this one as well. I cannot part with it. Definitely staying. So not getting rid of any of my Juvia's palettes. However, that Warrior one, like I keep saying, when I find my perfect warm tone palette, it will probably move out of my collection unless it just wows me the next few times I wear it and it lasts all day and doesn't crease. I'm feeling a little weird about these two palettes. So I repurchased this e.l.f. Rosewater quad, but honestly, I do not use it. This little quad of singles that I showed you from the ColourPop palette is my preference between the two of these, and actually When I use the e.l.f. one, I really don't use this shade. I don't like it at all, the darkest one. I hardly ever use this third shade in here. It's really pretty though, and maybe I should use it more. Like, it's a really nice tone, but for some reason I don't ever reach for it. I really prefer this shade, and then this kind of mid-tone sort of crease shade for me. It's a little bit lighter. I really like, and I'm just trying to figure out if that's worth keeping it. So I think I'm going to see if I have a shade similar to that one. I think actually maybe the shade that I have on the lids today from the Natasha Denona palette, this one's the like top left center eyelid shade, would be quite similar. Yeah, I think that's similar enough. So it doesn't have as much purple in it, but they're so similar that I feel like on the lids they're gonna look almost the same. And I'm gonna declutter this one. Yeah, it's a good little quad, but after about a year it's gonna go bad anyways, and I'm not reaching for it. I realized when I pulled this out of the drawer today that I almost forgot that I had it, so this is going to need to wow me moving forward because I have not used it since the random get ready with me where I had to use black shadow. However, I think it's just like the format of it, because the shades are incredible. They are so nice. I actually am very, very impressed with the formula of this palette. I just need to use it more, plain and simple. So I'm gonna be keeping this, but this is like I need to use this palette in order to justify keeping it. Okay, I think the lip category is going to be where I get rid of the most items, so let's just jump into it. I think we'll start with lip liners, the ones from NYX first. These are both staying. I have the shades Nude Beige and then Nude Suede Shoes. I really like both of these. They're staying. And then I'll talk about these together. These are the lip kits from Revolution X Soph. I like both of them. I'm going to keep all 4 products from the kit. So it came with, you know, the lighter 2 and then the darker 2. I'm going to keep all of them. And then I do have one from Juvia's Place. This one's in the shade So Rare. I really like this one. It's a more like warm tone brown almost kind of shade, and it's really unique and I like it for warm tone looks especially. I have 2 red lip liners, but they're very different, so I'm going to keep both of these as well. I have the KKW Beauty Red 3 and the ColourPop X Rudolph one. So I'm going to be keeping both of those because they're just extremely different. Even though I don't wear reds a ton, it's nice to have them as an option. For my other KKW Beauty ones though, I am actually going to part with the pink ones. I'm going to keep all of the nude ones. They're my favorite. I have nude 0, 0.5, and 1. So I'm going to keep all of these. But I've been kind of going back and forth with these two, and I think the height of them compared to my nude ones can very easily show you which ones are my favorite. So I do have the shades Pink 1 and Pink 2, and really they're just really bright. They're so bright, and I just don't think that kind of shade is very flattering on me. I think I would have preferred their mauve line, but KKW Beauty isn't even like a brand right now. I guess they're rebranding, so right now you can't even get these. So I'm going to declutter both. Okay, I guess I'll just go to glosses next. So I've got some lip oils here. I'm going to be keeping all of these. I am definitely into lip oils right now. I've got this one from Pacifica. It's in Rosy Glow. This one is like one of the solid lip oils, and I think it's really pretty. You can use it as like a sheer wash, but it also can build up to a nice little amount of color on your lips. It's still going to be sheer, but you can build it up to be pretty like cherry looking, and I really like that it's in the solid kind of form. I have this one from Spectrum. This one's in the shade Hannah. Now I really like the way this one looks, but I will say in the packaging it's a little bit like broken up, so that might be important for you to know. I'm not sure. That doesn't really matter. Like, to me, the way it works is great. I really like the way this one looks on the lips. It's super comfortable, and I'm very impressed with their makeup. I love this one. This is the Powerful Glossy Lip Oil from Catrice. It's in the shade Glossy Blackberry. I've been talking about it a lot, but I like that I have 3 different formulas and 3 different shades of lip oils. So those are all gonna stay. For my regular glosses, I think they're all gonna stay. I'm only really considering getting rid of the Persona one, but I'm gonna swatch the ones I have so I can kind of compare them. So this is the NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Madeline. I like this one because it's a more warm tone option. You guys know my favorite is this one from Kaja. It's the Gloss Shot in the shade Milk Tea. It's almost like a translucent, like a clear gloss, but it has the slightest kind of milky tint to it. I'll swatch my other Kaja one next to it. This one's in the shade Rosy Mocha. I don't like it as much, you know, to be fair. It's more pigmented, and I like the Milk Tea one a lot more. But I still like the Rosy Mocha one, and I'm going to keep it because I just love the formula so much. This one's definitely staying. This is the This Is Milky Gloss. I will say I don't like the way this one tastes. Like, if any gets in your mouth, it's gross to me. But it smells like Fruit Loops. I just wish it could taste like Fruit Loops too. But this one is in the shade Cookies and Milk, and I really love this shade. It's so nice and cool tone, and I really reach for it a lot when I'm doing a cool tone look. This one from Bite is also for sure staying. This is a new favorite of mine. It's in Sugar Drizzle, and it's like a clear gloss with a good bit of shimmers in it. So this one for sure, again, is going to stay. I think it's so pretty. The Alamar Birthday Suit one, again, is one of my favorites. I will say this is a sticky gloss. Like, it's sticky. But if your hair is up, it's great. It smells so good. It makes your lips look really plump and nice, and I really like that one. But I'm kind of wondering if this one from Persona is similar to it. Is the only thing I'm thinking. I'm not sure how similar they're gonna be. I don't know. It is quite similar, I think. I just applied some of this to see how I like it. I just think it's kind of like a standard gloss formula. And I think the color's similar enough to the Alamar one. On the lips, it's pretty, but it's not like the glossiest gloss that I have by any means. And I think I could do without it. So I think I'm going to pass on that one. For lip crayons, I'm keeping all of these from Bite Beauty. I'm so sad that they're going out of business. I love these lip crayons so much. I've got the shades Kava. This is my favorite. Hard Cider and Glacé. And yeah, none of them are going anywhere. I love them all. They're all staying. I'm also going to keep this Ulta Beauty one. This one doesn't have a shade, unfortunately. It was free with purchase, but I really like this. Definitely gonna stay again. However, I am gonna part ways with this Lippy Sticks from ColourPop. It's in the shade Oh Snap. I've used up a ton of this. It still has a good little bit left, but this has so much product in it that it honestly can twist down like really far. But I looked at my order history today, and I've had this since January of 2019, and I just don't feel comfortable using it anymore. I used it the other day, and thinking about the fact that I used it the other day kind of grosses me out. So I think that's probably a sign that it's time to get rid of it. I'm gonna keep this. This always just stays in my drawer. It's the Aquaphor Healing Ointment. This one actually expires in July, so I need to use it. I'm so bad about remembering to use this product, so that is my reminder to use this, but I will be getting rid of it in a month apparently. I'm unfortunately going to get rid of this one. I know I just got it and I meant to give it to my grandma when I saw her, and I totally forgot, but I don't think that she would have liked this color as much as the other one. But this is the Sparkling Guave Powerful Lip Care from Catrice. I just don't really like the way this sits on my lips. I feel like it's slightly drying. It's not as hydrating as I wanted it to be, and it honestly feels like a typical like old school drugstore lipstick, aka not the best. I don't think it's bad, but I just don't think I need it in my collection, so I'm going to see if I can find a new home for it since it's practically brand new. Definitely keeping this. This is such a favorite right now. This is the lipstick from Ulta Beauty in the shade 332. This is like a My Lips but better. It's so good. This is very underrated. I think it needs more hype. It's like $9. The packaging is so luxe feeling. Definitely staying in my collection. Also going to be keeping this one from Juvia's Place. It's in the shade Muted. It's a nice light brown sort of shade, and I think it's really pretty. I don't really have a lot like this one. Definitely keeping this. Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. I'm sure you're not surprised. I'm going to be keeping this one as well. This is a classic favorite of mine. I'm also going to be keeping the Pillow Talk Diamonds lipstick from Charlotte Tilbury as well. It's like a glittery sort of lipstick. It actually has glitters in it, and it's fun just kind of every now and then. I don't foresee myself ever using up this product, but it's nice to use every now and then. I've kind of gone back and forth about getting rid of these. I just think since I had them, I have tried better, But I did use this one in glazed yesterday and I really liked it. So I think for now they're gonna stay. These are the Slip Shine lipsticks from Fenty. So I have the shade glazed, which is more of like a my nude sort of lip. And I have the shade Cookies and Cocoa, which is a little bit, well, it's a lot a bit deeper. I've definitely used up more of the shade glazed than this one, but I've still used up a really good amount of both of them. I kind of think I want to try and pan them at some point, especially the lighter one, but yeah, I'm going to keep these for now. A favorite from Fenty, this is going nowhere. This is the refillable lipstick in the shade Mother Lova. You guys know I've been talking about this nonstop. I cannot get enough of it. It's actually quite similar to Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. Not exact dupes, but they're definitely in that same sort of family, especially on the lips. So here is Fenty Mother Lova. It's very creamy. I would say this one's a little bit more creamy than the Charlotte Tilbury. And then here is Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. Again, they're not exact. This one's a little bit more peachy, but on the lips, they are very similar. My OG favorite, this is the Almay Worry Less lipstick. It's not going to go anywhere. It's honestly so good. I will say though, the closest lipstick to replacing it is so unfortunate because it's this one in Kava from Bite. And Bite's not going to be in business anymore, so that just sucks. Like, these are so freaking similar. But it just goes to show like why I probably love this shade so much. I'm not going to go get another one though, because these have so much product in them that it would just be kind of silly, I think, for me to get another one as a backup. But I've already used a ton of this product. It's already down to here when you twist it. But yeah, this one's not going to go anywhere either. ColourPop X Rudolph. I don't typically use a red bullet lipstick. However, kind of like the lip liners, this one is more of like that, I would say like Christmassy kind of red, which I felt like my collection was kind of missing. And I also have this liquid lip from Persona. It's in the shade Phoenix. I really like this one. It's more like of a summery red. So the fact that they're so different, I am going to go ahead and keep both. And then while we're talking about reds, I also have this one called Raspberry. This is the e.l.f. Seriously Satin Lip. They're all very different because these two bullet lipsticks I think are different enough. This one's more of a satin. I guess they're both more satin, but this one's more of like a purple base and it's a little bit deeper. This one has more of a blue base and it's a little bit more bold. And then the liquid lip, of course, is a little bit more orangey. So I'm actually going to keep all three of my red lip options. I think this is a well-rounded group for me. The only thing I could consider is that I might potentially want a liquid lip that's this color, just because it can stay better since it's such a deep color. I need to use this one more because I do actually think the staying power was pretty good from what I can remember. Ofra is another brand that I don't really want to purchase from. However, I do really like this liquid lip that I already have from them. It's in the shade Pasadena. It's one of my favorites, especially in the fall. So I think I'm going to keep this. However, I think maybe another year or so, year and a half, through next fall, I probably won't want to use this anymore. So I'm going to try and use it as much as possible until then. This shade called OG from Persona, I don't use super often, but I do really like to have it in my collection because it's a more brown sort of shade. So it's really nice for a grungy look. I'm definitely going to keep that one. However, I do think I'm going to pass on this Persona Flamingo shade. I feel like every time I use it, I just feel like it's not very flattering on, I don't know if it's my skin tone. I'm gonna pass on this one, even though looking at it, it's really pretty. It's just not a shade that I really like to wear. We're down to the last row of bullet lipsticks. So you can see here that I have 4 in each collection, which I actually don't want to do that anymore. I really like to try new formulas. The exception being that I'm very happy to have 3 from Bite. But other than that, I really only want to own like 1 or 2 from each sort of line. So I'm going to keep that in mind. However, I don't want to declutter things just to declutter them. I'm thinking, let's swatch the darkest ones first. And we'll go from there. Because I'm not really, it wouldn't really benefit me to just swatch the same line together. So I want to see if there's any of these that I might could part ways with, but I'm not going to force myself again to get rid of anything just because. This one's so pretty. This is the e.l.f. Seriously Satin Lip in the shade Cocoa. I think it's beautiful. I always get compliments when I wear these kinds of shades. This one, next one is also called Cocoa, but it is from NYX. I feel like we could get a little bit more creative with our names here. This one is definitely more creamy, and I feel like those are different enough to justify keeping both of those. And then this one is my vampiest lip in my collection. This one is Milani Sensual. I think I could have passed on this one. I really like the formula, and for it being a bullet lipstick, the staying power is really nice. But I think I would have rather had this shade with a liquid lipstick than a bullet. So, you know what? I am going to declutter this one. I look at it and I'm just like, I don't see myself wanting to wear it. And if I want to wear a shade like this, I'll probably pick up a liquid lip from NYX or something. I'm more drawn to this one. I hope I don't regret that this winter and fall. But if I do, I guess I could always repurchase it. But I'm going to see if I can find someone who might really like this one. And for now, I'm going to get rid of it. Okay, this one's kind of a one-off shade. I'm going to keep it. I think it's a lot of fun. It's the shade Sugar Plum. Again, it's the e.l.f. Seriously Satin Lip. I think this is just so much fun to wear. I don't wear it a lot, but it's so inexpensive that I think that it's a really good purchase and a good product to keep in my collection. So from here, I think I'll swatch these 3 next, and then probably all of these together. So first up, this is Cersei from NYX. I think I'll keep this one because it's my lightest lipstick, and it's nice to lighten up a certain sort of look. And I think that this is valuable in my collection. It's too light to wear on its own. It's like concealer lips, but I still really think that it adds something to my collection. Next up is Nectar from e.l.f. This one's a nice peachy color. I will say though, I need to see if I wear it this summer. I'm a lot more into warm tones than I've really ever been, but I don't reach for this one very often. However, I really like this shade called Cider, which is also from the Seriously Satin line. So I think that these are all different enough, and I don't really have another shade quite like the one called Nectar. So again, with it being so affordable, I would just rather keep this one than want to replace it later. I'll rather just see if I use it over the summer and maybe into fall and kind of decide from there. Okay, we've got more of my like nude sort of like mauve-y leaning things. This one's a little bit more warm tone. I feel like they look kind of similar on the lips. So we'll start with the NYX ones. I have the shades Thalia and Minimalism. Now, these are some of my favorites, so I don't anticipate getting rid of them. The formula as well between the NYX line and the Milani is extremely different. The NYX is a lot more creamy and sheer, whereas the Milani ones are more matte and pigmented. I definitely think I'm going to keep both of these. So this one was Thalia and that one's Minimalism. I really like them, but I want to see how they compare to these Milani ones. So this first one is the shade called Pleasure. This one again is that more kind of like neutral leaning color. It looks like to me like it'd be maybe a little bit more pink in person, but it's really not. It's really neutral or even a little bit peachy. This next one is in the shade called Tease, and it's just slightly more like warm tone, I guess, than the one in Pleasure. I think I prefer this one actually to the other. I think the shade Pleasure is supposed to be the dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk, and I don't know, I like this one better. I like that it actually has a little bit of pink to it, and I feel like between the Milani one and then especially this Fenty one, I would prefer the Fenty one, and they're very similar in tone. So I actually think I'm going to declutter the Milani one in Pleasure, which is again this one here, but I'm going to of course keep those two I'd already mentioned, the Charlotte Tilbury and the Fenty, and then I'm going to keep this one as well in the shade called Tease. I think it's a little bit more unique to my collection. And then I'm also going to keep this one in the shade Secret. I really do like this one. I think this one is darker than the Charlotte Tilbury one, and it's a bit more of a unique color to my collection, I think. It's actually a little bit surprising to me to look at these Milani lipsticks and to see that these are the only two that I'm keeping. Okay, so these are all the products that I'm decluttering. You'll see 17 here, but remember that we had 2 other ones that we're also decluttering, so 19 products to declutter I feel like is pretty good for my sized collection. I feel like looking at these, they're kind of the products I either don't reach for or don't really like to reach for, some of which break me out, and some of which I think I could just find a better home for to get more use out of them than what I use them for. So overall, I'm pretty happy looking at my collection. I think it's just time for all of these to go. Thank you guys so much for watching this declutter. This is part 1, like my makeup collection, and then part 2 is going to be my skincare, hair care, and body care. So definitely stay tuned to my channel to see that. But with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!